Welcome to the second floor of the Duncan Student Center. We've got a packed show for you here on Shamrock Sports. We're talking Notre Dame football. Steve Angeli finds a new home in the JMA Wireless Dome. What does his future hold, and what does this new football team look in 2025? Then Notre Dame women's basketball picks up some key transfers and now finally have a team. And then, of course, we return college football courtroom. Jimmy Collins, my man, and Shannon Lipscomb are going to do battle around college football's hottest topics. And, of course, as it is our last show of the year, it's our senior send-off. All that and more. Shamrock Sports starts right now. Once again, we welcome you back to the second floor of the Duncan Student Center alongside Shannon Lipscomb and Jimmy Collins. I'm Jacob Irons. It should be a fully packed show for you, but since we're on Notre Dame's campus, you got to start with college football. It's the only way this place works, and that's with the gridiron. NFL draft happening last night. No Notre Dame individuals were taken. It's the first time that a team that has made the national championship hasn't had a player get taken in the first round. This year, it's the first time since 2014 for Notre Dame. What do you think has to happen here for Notre Dame, especially Ben Morrison, who is likely a first-round pick, but then due to injury, see his name start sliding on draft boards?
Well, you know what, Jake, you said it there. Ben didn't get a lot of playing time this year, facing that injury. And a few months ago, he was in that first-round draft pick from a lot of top analysts. But he fell a little bit. Hopefully, he should hear his name tonight. He'll probably hear it pretty early. A few big names didn't go last night, so he's not the only one. He shouldn't feel like he's alone there. But hopefully, he'll go early tonight, and should be a good night for him.
Should be a good night. And what do you have to imagine? The scene in Green Bay might have toppled Detroit a year ago, Jimmy. I'm just saying. I don't want to throw that out there, but 200,000 people in Green Bay, the smallest market, really had a big feel. But Notre Dame, once again, out of the mix in day one.
Yeah, I mean, 200K is pretty cool, but when you look back a year ago, Detroit had 275K on the first night.
Okay.
Pretty good, but close, but not quite. Yeah, I mean, Ben Morrison, he said it himself during his injury, during the scouting process, like, my tape doesn't lie. Even though I didn't get a lot of playing time this season because of my injury, my tape doesn't lie. So I know that I am one of the best players in this draft, and I still believe that. I think fair to have an injury concern when looking at a player that you want to take maybe in the first round. You kind of want to avoid the injury concern. I think it's a little surprising that Notre Dame didn't have anyone go in the first round, but also looking at this Notre Dame team from this past season, it didn't really feel like there was a ton of first-level talent. They were just a team that was so close and worked so hard and gelled perfectly together, and that's why they were so successful. I do think that there will be a lot of guys that will go here in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round, but early makes sense. A little surprising that we're the first team since 2014 to not have anyone go in the first round after making the national championship game, but I think Ben will be just fine.
I think Ben will be just fine. Hey, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I'm just saying, he's working on a new contract deal that makes it doesn't matter where you got drafted. An individual that came in highly recruited that would have loved to hear his name called is Steve Angeli. He's now off into the portal. To the naked eye, appears to have lost the battle here to CJ Carr and Kenny Minchie. He's going to go up to the JMA Wireless Dome. Jenny, your thoughts on the New Jersey guy going back to the Northeast, and he'll play in Central New York?
Yeah, Jake, I think it's a good opportunity for him. He'll still have some competition at Syracuse with LSU transfer quarterback Ricky Collins, but you know what? The battle here was between some of the younger guys, between Carr and Minchie, and that's the direction that Notre Dame's going in. They have to show their team that they have the depth and they can do it for quite a few years. They don't want to be in this position where they're elevating someone just during their senior year that's going to be the one to take it for just a year. They want those guys with that depth, and I think it'll be a good opportunity for both parties involved.
Yeah, I think it should be good. Fran Brown really looking to build something up there in Orange territory. However, though, for Steve Angeli, did lead a really important drive in the Penn State game with Riley Leonard off to the sideline. Jimmy, it feels like this could be the rebirth for Steve Angeli to have that final moment of being the starting quarterback for a premier program.
Yeah, I think this is ultimately the right decision for Steve Angeli and the right decision for Notre Dame. I think when you're looking at Steve Angeli, like you mentioned, that drive against Penn State might have gotten Notre Dame back into the game and could honestly be the reason that Notre Dame won that Orange Bowl. But at the same time, when you're looking at Notre Dame's quarterback room, a lot of people have said from outside voices that Notre Dame's quarterback room was the deepest in the country and probably had 3 top 25 quarterbacks in the country in one room before Steve Angeli entered the transfer portal. So I do think it's the right decision for Steve. He's a good quarterback. He'll have success at a school like Syracuse in the ACC, so he's still in the Power 4. But I think right now Notre Dame is kind of starting to realize that even though Steve Angeli did his time, there's too much young talent in the Notre Dame quarterback room to kind of let Steve start. Personally, I think Notre Dame made the right decision. Young talent should prevail, especially if you want to take that next jump.
Yeah, if you want to talk about young talent, though, there is a senior day. Syracuse comes to South Bend on senior day for Notre Dame. Steve Angeli most likely will be the starting quarterback. Once again, minus a competition into the summer. Should be interesting there. However, it is the closing and opening of the spring portal. It's a quick 2-week portal in college football. Your assessments on how Notre Dame went about the portal. And they lost some guys. They lost 2 special teamers in Reno Monteforte and Zach Yoakum. But it still feels like the core is still there and didn't lose as much as some other teams did at this portal.
Yeah, definitely. I think the guys that Notre Dame lost, the majority of them were in the latter parts of their career. They didn't have too much playing time left. And for the spring transfer portal, I think Notre Dame did okay. During the winter, they lost a few guys, but that was to be expected. Some who just had a year to play left and want to go somewhere else and get the starting position there. But I think Notre Dame is in a really great position that they need to show a lot of people that they are playing win-now football. Notre Dame needs to win right now. We can't make it to the national championship. We got to win. So I think the recruiting class that they've got coming in, obviously always a big factor. And then they did well in the transfer portal coming into this year. They have a few guys who have already started, 8 great players, some who will probably start in key positions like cornerback, safety. We need that help. So I think Notre Dame will be just fine. And then come next year, we'll have a great team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like you talk about, Pete Pavakwa has said he is going to be very deliberate. He wants to win a national championship at the helm. Jimmy, for you, it feels like, as Shannon's saying, it's a win-now mode, and they're keeping all the core there to try and get back to that level.
Yeah, with the state of college football right now, the transfer portal, you never really know what you're going to get because Notre Dame had a very successful season last year. They had a lot of young talent, get a lot of playing time, and really show out. I do think that that could have been an issue when it comes to the transfer portal with bigger schools just offering more money to these players. But Notre Dame did a good job of being able to keep that depth, and they did lose some guys. The Kennedy Urlacher loss was a little bit surprising. I think he was going to play a significant role in that secondary this year. But at the same time, that Notre Dame secondary has a ton of depth and had a lot of young guys show out this year and play very high-level football. So I do think with what could have happened when it comes to the transfer portal for Notre Dame, it's not the worst-case scenario at all. They kept a ton of depth. They brought back a bunch of starting talent as well, and I do think that setting themselves up for a very, very good season.
And like when you talk about, every recruiting analyst talks that if you are recruiting well at your position, players are going to transfer.
They have to, yeah.
And for the linebacker core, it is just too good right now for what Urlacher sees to try and break through in this moment in time. Switching things off into the hardwood, we now move to women's basketball, who might be the biggest offseason they've had in Neil Ivy's tenure. They do pick up a big transfer from Duke and De Jesus. I still have questions whether it is enough for this team right now because you're starting from zero, and it's hard to believe you're starting with zero for a team that had Tampa hopes. It was Tampa or bust, and you guys didn't even make it out of the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Vanessa De Jesus coming to Notre Dame, she is filling a lot of our needs that we have. Now we have a team, now that she's here. So we'll take that, and hopefully she'll be a very good part of this team. I'll read off some stats, and then I'll transfer it to Jimmy because he's the hoops guy. But De Jesus had 102 games with Duke, 18 starts this season, averaging 4.4 points, and she played her best season this year in shooting 47% from the floor. So I think there's a lot of hope here. I think she could help out our team quite a lot. I'd love to hear what Jimmy has to say.
Yeah,
and the analysis.
I mean, when you're looking at this Notre Dame team this past season, it's pretty much impossible to say that this past season wasn't a failure.
Oh, 100%.
You mentioned that this team had Tampa hopes. I think this team had hopes of, maybe even expectations of hoisting the trophy at the end of the year, and they didn't even make it past the Sweet 16. They kind of crumbled in the ACC tournament, so pretty much a failure. And then you lose Olivia Miles, you lose Kylie Watson, Emma Risch. Like that was a team that was so deep and so good the entire season, collapsed at the end, and now people are leaving, and Notre Dame fans kind of seem like they're panicking. They don't have a team for a couple weeks, and they finally add DeJesus, and I think just being able to add someone with experience in an ACC school that in Duke that played very, very well at the end of last season. It shows that they know the types of players that they want to go after. They want to go after experienced Power 4 players, and I think that's something that's going to help. I think DeJesus is going to play a big role this upcoming season in playing next to Hannah Hidalgo, who will obviously stand in the spotlight this upcoming season. But they need to add players with experience, and they're starting off just right.
Yeah, they started off as well, picking up Malaya Cowles from Wake Forest. Once again, Demon Deegan's not having the year they wanted in women's basketball, but she comes over and immediately becomes a title contender for herself. I talked about it off the top. There is a level of concern I have to have with Neil Ivey, and you hate to say it because she is the prodigy. Like, this was who Muffet McGraw had tapped. Like, this is who you wanted. You have to imagine that seat is getting a little warm right now. Like, you have to imagine you go out back-to-back in the Sweet 16. Neil Ivey's going to have to step up, or I don't want to say it, but Notre Dame women's basketball has a level and a tradition of being something, and under her, they haven't really shown that.
Yeah, I definitely feel that same level of concern, Jake. They've gotten to the same spot the past 2 years. They cannot get over that hump, and that was with some of their best players that they've had in this program to date. Some who are leading some of our Notre Dame stats, who have been amazing players and amazing faces of our team. I do think Hannah Hidalgo and Cass Prosper will be a great duo, and hopefully they can get some younger talent and really be the ones to lead all those that are coming in and helping this team. But I agree with you. It was a bummer this year to see them stop at the Sweet 16, especially after having such a great year, and we wanted them to go further.
And I think maybe the biggest gut punch on top of it is you have Olivia Miles, who could have went to the draft, but decides, no, hold on. I'm going to stay in college basketball, and I'm going to go to the team that beat you. We talk about Penn State and how Notre Dame football took their running backs coach and beat him at the Orange Bowl. This is TCU doing the exact same thing and beating Notre Dame women's basketball at the highest level, going out and getting the biggest guard in Olivia Miles. Concern's got to be there because Olivia Miles was supposed to be out of college basketball. Now there's a very good chance you're going to see her again.
Yeah, I'm going to say that there's a moderate level of concern. I'm not going to sit here and say that Neil Ivey is on the hot seat, but maybe she's Notre Dame's reaching for the seat heater. I don't know. They've lost 4 straight years in the Sweet 16. Especially with this year's team. Last year was a decent year. It ended strong. They won the ACC, and then they come into this year probably the #1 overall team in the country for a majority of the season. Even though they weren't ranked #1 all season, they were probably the best team in the country for most of the season. They looked unstoppable in transition. They won 19 games in a row. They beat Texas at home. They beat UConn at home, and then they flame out in the ACC tournament and eventually lose to TCU. I think there's a level of frustration from Notre Dame fans. I think that people like to say that this is South Bend's team. They get a good crowd to every single game, and you win 19 in a row, and people are thinking, oh, yeah, we're a lock for the Final Four, and then you lose. I think it seems like Notre Dame might have to start thinking about something if things continue to not go well. I don't know. It's tough because looking back on this team, they were so good. Maybe the 4th or 5th name that you would name when naming players on Notre Dame's team is Sonia Citron, and she went #3 overall in the WNBA draft. So I think that kind of shows a level of failure and a level of concern that everyone should have.
But I will also give them that it's a rebuilding, I think.
Yes.
So maybe not a total failure yet, but a rebuild, something to work through. Hopefully we'll get there.
The question is, how do you
shouldn't have been a rebuild.
It shouldn't have been a rebuild. That's going to be the bigger question, is how do they rebuild? And some programs that are also in the current rebuild is our spring sports. To bring us more of an update on that is someone who's making her first Shamrock appearance. How is this possible? It is Meaghan O'Keefe. Meaghan, what's our Friday headlines?
Thanks, Jake. And hi, everyone. I'm Meaghan O'Keefe here with your Friday headlines. The #6 ranked men's lacrosse team closes out their regular season tomorrow at 2 p.m. in Arlotta Stadium against Penn. Notre Dame is unbeaten against the Quakers when playing in South Bend with a 3-0 record. The Notre Dame baseball team will face the Cal Golden Bears for the first time since 1941, making this their first meeting as ACC opponents. The 3-game series kicks off tonight in Frank Eck Stadium at 6:30 p.m. Over on the women's side, riding a 3-game winning streak, softball will have 4 consecutive days of games, starting tonight at 6 p.m. against North Carolina. Saturday's game against the Tar Heels will be Senior Day, as the team honors 6 upcoming graduates. Closing out ACC play, a pivotal matchup will help decide both teams' seeding in next month's ACC championships. The Irish will also host 5th-ranked Oregon on Monday, April 28th. Finally, congratulations to junior Sebastian Domingo on being named the 2024-25 ACC Men's Tennis Player of the Year. This is the first time in Notre Dame history that the team has had a student hold this title. That's all of your Friday headlines for the year. Thanks for tuning in and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Meaghan, and we welcome you into the college football courtroom. It's back and better than ever, baby. Judge Jake is back for one time only. We're selling a discount here. It's really buy one, get 3. So we start with our college football. There's been so much to talk about in the college football landscape as of late. However, you have to start with the biggest story. We have our honorable counsel, Jimmy Collins, Shannon Lipscomb here defending all somewhat. I have no idea. I'm just going to let them talk, and I'll bounce in at certain points. We start with Nico Miliava and how he essentially is reshaping the entire NIL world, asking for a contract that he should be given more. It's a holdout. It's Nico, the NIL. We'll start with you, sir, on not the defense of Nico, but rather going to throw him out to the curb a little bit.
I'm on the defense for college football. I think that this whole story, the way that it unfolded with Josh Heupel basically kicking Nico Iamaleava to the curb, is a huge win for college football, because people don't like the way the NIL was trending, and it felt like unlimited money was being thrown around and poaching players from other teams, and people didn't like that. But the worst possible thing that could have happened, which it still could happen, but it didn't this time, is a player holds out, demands more money, and gets that money, because once that happens one time, there's no going back. And Josh Heupel was able to maybe, for now, save college football and
I'll stop you.
Basically save the sport.
Wow, save the sport. Shannon Lipscomb, your defense. He's defending the sport, and for you, you're giving money.
You know what? I'm defending the players. I think that this is better for Nico and players as a whole. Just think about, for so long, players weren't allowed to get paid for what they do, and if he's going to get compensated somewhere else, you know what? I think he should take it, and he should be fighting for what he wants. You know what? In the NIL era, this could have been our first holdout, and I'll read you some names of some big NFL holdouts. You might know some of these: Earl Thomas, Emmitt Smith, Le'Veon Bell. You know what? I think it's better for him. He'll be with his brother, and he's going to be doing much better. I'm going for Nico.
I ultimately side in the rule of college football. It's amateurism until the House settlement. But it's amateurism.
Give them their money.
We'll find out later. All right, let's keep moving. We'll keep moving. Now we move on to my next big case, Sanders v. Banner. It's awesome. Shedeur Sanders getting his number retired at Colorado after 1 year of playing there, and on top of it, didn't go last night, just saying. And he still has number retired. But once again, Tom Brady has his number retired. Michigan, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter where you go, but Shedeur Sanders, Banner. Are we pleading yay or nay to the banner here at Jimmy Collins?
I think it is quite bad. And my reason for thinking this is because he went 13-12 in his 2 years as the starting quarterback at Colorado. 13-12. If a Notre Dame quarterback went 13-12, they would be benched instantly, or maybe driven out by the fans, or it would not go over well. But because his dad is the coach and Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy, of course, I'm all for Travis Hunter. He is a phenomenal player. He went number 2 last night, and
earns everything.
Very, very much deserving. He plays on both sides of the ball. Insane talent. And then you look at Shedeur Sanders, who is also a good quarterback, and he will go in the draft tonight. He'll be a second-round pick. It's, why are we retiring his number and not his brother's? His brother played for Colorado. Dad was the coach. Was also just okay. Like, I don't know.
There's a level.
It's interesting. I understand the Travis Hunter, but not Shedeur Sanders. I think, come on. Way too soon.
your side of banner. I don't. This is a tough one. This is like. I'm just saying. This is like general counsel when someone's like, "All right, here's the case. You're a public defender. Now you have to defend it." I'm tough on this one. Like, all right, let's hear it.
You know what, Jake? There's not many things that I can argue against in this. You know, I don't think it's a good thing that his banner got retired, his jersey got retired. There's only a handful of Colorado players who are in that same bucket that have their number retired, and the fact that there are some of them. Travis Hunter, we can make a case for him, but for Shedeur Sanders, I'm not seeing it. I can't go against
Wow, defense is done. Sorry, man, that was quick. All right, let's move. Let's move.
Argue that.
It's almost disrespectful to Travis Hunter, who won the Heisman Trophy and was the coolest, best player in college football.
He's
to then this average quarterback whose dad is the coach gets their number retired because they were kind of decent when he was there. It's just ridiculous.
We all remember those rec league teams. Dad's the coach, right? This is just happening on a larger scale at the college football. I didn't get an award. I was the coach's son. My dad knew I couldn't do it. So, let's move it. Belichick, the college football. Belichick coming out of the NFL ranks after a year off, did a lot of media stuff, and then, Bubba Cunningham. Remembers, oh my gosh, Mac Brown to Bill Belichick. Your thoughts on Bill entering the college football ranks?
Yeah, I think it feels almost sort of gimmicky. It feels like he is a Hall of Fame coach in the NFL, won 6 Super Bowls, and probably the greatest to ever do it. Who knows if that is because Tom Brady was his quarterback or if he was the one that helped Tom Brady. I don't know. We'll never know. But him coming back to college football, to kind of a random school like North Carolina, just feels a little bit gimmicky, and I'm not sure if I'm all for it. I think it will be fun for a little bit. And if it goes well, it'll be very fun. But at the end of the day, still a Hall of Fame coach. I expect there to be at least a moderate level of success in the ACC, a conference that is pretty much wide open. So I think it'll be pretty fun. We'll see.
It'll be fun. We'll find out. Once again, you're tough. You're like a public defender today. You're just getting case after case getting thrown at you and hoping something sticks.
You know what, here's what I'll say. Whether it's a singer, an actor that I like, an athlete, I can't stand when somebody's reputation comes down to something as goofy as something like this. And you know what? For Bill Belichick, him and his girlfriend right now, they're quite the talk. They went just about everywhere.
Brought the personal life into it.
You know what? I got to bring the personal life into it. I don't deny what Jimmy said, that he might have a few good years here at UNC, but you know what? I think his best coaching years are over. I think he was doing much better as an analyst, sitting alongside Peyton and Eli Manning on the Manning cast, doing a lot of cool media things and giving his take. I don't think this is for him, Jake.
Yeah, I actually read my docket wrong. It was Bill v. Broad. My bad. Sorry, guys. All right. We'll do our senior send-offs when we come back. NDTV is a place of friends.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, a week, a month, even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too.
Me editing my videos, it didn't look like someone was like just having a little too much.
And we welcome you back. We bring Meaghan O'Keefe back in with us. to do one of our big favorite things as our last show of the year, to allow the seniors the opportunity to instill some wisdom, share about their favorite last moments, and give a thanks to all of our crew. We'll start with you, Shannon. Favorite NDTV or NDTV sports moment?
I'd have to say my first show that I was ever on for was during our JPW,
Yes.
so last year. So I really love that I was able to come in, do a fun game with you guys. You let me come on and get my nerves out a little bit, do something fun, read from a script. I didn't have to wing it just yet. But I've had such an amazing time here at NDTV, and that show was definitely one that stuck out. My parents were here to watch, and they were so excited to see me doing something a little bit out of my comfort zone.
It's great, and talk about it. JPW to senior show, quick rise for the Shannon Lipscomb. Jimmy Collins.
Yeah, the JPW show probably would have been my #1 if I had beaten you in the trivia.
The one thing I'll hold over Jimmy Collins, I can't pick a Notre Dame team, but I can pick trivia pretty well.
Well, I didn't let you pick the Notre Dame team, so
Yeah,
I guess
that's
I was
fair.
kind of holding that up over your head. I would say my favorite time was the college football playoff shows we were able to do for the IU game, and having that college football playoff game here on campus, having a show there, as well as the Ohio State show coming back from break. National championship game, doesn't get much better than that. So those couple weeks there were pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were some really cool moments. For you, Meaghan, your favorite NDTV moment that might not have happened here since it's your first show, but maybe even an ND sports moment as well.
Ooh, well, I was actually going to say an ND Sunrise moment, if that's okay.
No, go.
I'm sorry. But, oh my gosh, I'm a child. Okay. I would say one of my favorite moments was my freshman year St. Patrick's Day ND Sunrise show. It was with Anthony Rio, Elise Dahoney, and we had no one else there. Like, one of my freshman year roommate actually had to come and help us do the teleprompter. It shows how much our active membership has grown throughout the years. But everything you could think of went wrong that show. Me and Elise were anchoring, and it took forever to film. And what should have been very frustrating was one of the most funny experiences of my life. I can still watch that show and see me trying not to laugh and ruin another take. And it's just such a fond memory. It really taught me how to roll with the punches with NDTV.
Yeah, you got to roll with the punches here. Like, that is the #1 rule if you were going to do this club. You got to be able to have a little flexibility in your schedule, because if we say 4 o'clock, it's probably going to more be like 4:30 at this point on this show. For me, it's probably going to go back to our Christmas show in 2022. That was a really funny show. We had come in thinking and planned it that it was going to be a strict Christmas show. However, then as we walked into the studio at like 2 o'clock, Drew Pine announced he was leaving. So we have some great video footage out there of us doing just some stupid crap during a very large breaking news day. That's really funny. And then the college football playoff run, how can you not love it? It was so awesome. I say this, it bought me more time with a lot of good people that I was able to go on the road with and have some great opportunities with because of that. And it was a really cool opportunity to have it happen in my senior year and to be on the road with them, traveling the entire way through. Now we always give our impending wisdom off to the next generation. Shannon Lipscomb, what do you got for the next NDTVers?
I think mine is a little cliche, but it's don't be afraid to try something new. You'll hear it from Jimmy, but we both joined just last year when we were juniors, even though I've been a film, television, and theater major since the beginning of sophomore year. I knew Jake Irons was huge in NDTV. He's Mr. NDTV, you guys.
Mr. NDTV.
But I was just looking to try something new, get a little more involved, because I was president of my dorm. That was winding to an end. And I'm so glad that I joined NDTV. It's been so great to try to learn a bunch of different things behind the camera. Can't say I'm the best, but I can do pretty decent. And then to be on camera too has been so much fun.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I would say the thing that kind of came to my mind when I was thinking about it was, obviously I've only been here for 2 years now, but
VP though, VP Jimmy Collins.
Yes, my advice is to say yes to things. I think in our fall of junior year, Jake and I sat next to each other in our ethics of journalism class, and I think Jake had asked me probably for like 3 weeks in a row if I would come to NDTV and if I wanted to join, and I didn't. But after 3 weeks,
it took a
some
little politicking. I got there.
Eventually, he got it, and I showed up, and I'm very glad I ended up saying yes. It opened a lot of cool doors for me, and I love the moment.
What do you say to the next gen?
I would say my advice is to go to the studio as much as possible, even if you're not even doing anything NDTV related. I think everyone joins NDTV for different reasons, but I think everyone can agree that community is truly the best part of NDTV and what makes it so hard to leave. Everyone in this club is so supportive of one another, and the amount of times I would just swing by for 10 minutes in between class just because I knew that whoever was there I was going to have a funny conversation with, be able to sit and chat with. And I think that's what I'm going to miss the most, so take advantage of the studio and the people.
Yeah, take advantage of the studio and the people. Oh, our crew came out. Our crew is fabulous. When you join this club, you join a family. And I was not going to cry. And then,
We knew he was going to cry.
We knew you were going to cry. That's probably why people came out.
yeah, probably. This place is the best people. I joined this club, I got dragged here. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Its former station manager, Kieran Cantwell, sat next to me in class, was bothering me in our first class. I was a freshman, I was a typical freshman. I was so invested on Michael Kackman's lecture in FTT 101, which if any of you FTT...
That makes one of us.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're out there, you know, he kept bothering me, kept asking me questions. I said, dude, what do you need from me? He's like, I think you should join NDTV. And he dragged me here that next day after class. I got to meet with some great people. And at the end of the day, it's what the people it is. Talk to someone. You meet some great friends. I don't even know where I would be on this campus without the people that I've met here. So talk to everybody. Everybody is nice. You do TV, you are going to have a great connection with someone. That is what that next gen is. I want to give a big shout out though through our credits. A great Ryan Murphy was able to put all of our credits together, and that's our crew. It has been an absolute awesome time with every single one of them and what they have put into this show this year. They have put their best foot forward. As a president of this organization, I cannot ask for much more from these people than what they gave me for all this time.
Come here.
I love this place. I love this campus. I love Dylan. I love Pete. I love Lori. They became my family up here. This entire group became family. I really don't have anything else to say, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been Shamrock Sports. This is your 2025 senior class. We're signing off. So long, everybody.
That's so sad.
Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time, turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time, one last call for alcohol, so finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take me home. I know who I want to take